Good morning and welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. If I'm looking a wee bit scunnered, it's because I am. I did record this waffle last night. Well, I didn't record this one, obviously, because I'm doing it right now. I recorded a Friday Waffle last night, transferred it across from the iPad onto the PC, and then started uploading it. Went downstairs for a few hours, came back upstairs when I was getting ready for bed, only to discover the file. YouTube said the file was corrupted, so I don't know what went on there. Tried to play the file and sure enough, it wouldn't play. So I couldn't, when that happens, I couldn't be arsed redoing it, I thought I'll do it in the morning, so here we are. So I'm up nice and early. I kind of woke up. The problem with me getting up early in my job is even if I want to have a long lie, I always wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning and I struggle to get back to sleep. In fact, when I woke up this morning, I ended up watching, it was about 5:30, I ended up watching a programme on Plex, all about the Apple II, as you do. But I did manage to get back to sleep for a couple of hours, so it's all good. So I hope you're all okay. Last week, whatever you want to call it, the last 5 days, it's been okay. There's still plenty of things that I'm wanting to kind of fix. That's all I'm really going to say at the moment. Hopefully things are going to work out, shortly. What have I been doing? I've not been doing a great deal. Gaming wise, my mate Neil came up on Thursday and we were messing about with the Spectrum Next. It's actually the first time I've really had a shot of it again since I've had it. Just not had any time to really play it, so I was playing that for a wee bit. And quite funny because I bought I think I mentioned it in a waffle, I bought myself a record player. Well, it's an all-in-one hi-fi system, it's got the CD player, it's got the double cassette, it's got the radio bit, and it's also got a separate phono, record player bit. But when I bought it, the needle or the whole head thing was actually missing. The guy told me that, he says, look, it's missing. He says, look, do you want to take it anyway? I said, yeah, might as well, I can maybe fix it. So Neil's a bit of a techie wizard when it comes to soldering and electronics and that kind of stuff. So but basically I ordered a new head on eBay, the stylus and the actual head. So that arrived a few weeks ago. So Neil came up to fit it, and he had to go away because, or he could only do so much because he basically, the screw that holds the actual head onto the arm was too big. So he said to me, right, I'll need to come back and no, in fact, I tell you what, he did so much, but then he said, look, we'll need to do it another day. Is it crimpers or something? So he done so much, and then he came back, was it 2 weeks ago, to finish it. He crimped the wires together, and then he discovered that the screw that holds the actual head onto the arm was too big. So he thought, bloody hell, he says, what I'll do is I've got some small screws coming. So he came back on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it was, Thursday, can't remember, doesn't matter, with this massive thing of tiny wee screws, and none of them would fit. So it's taken 3 attempts to get this damn thing to work, and unfortunately the last 2 visits have fallen by the wayside because of the stupid screw. It needs to be a certain size screw. So yeah, he came up on Thursday or whatever it was, and then last night, Kenny, my mate Kenny, he came up. Kenny is known, well, Kenny takes part in some of my live streams. He kind of watches them quite a lot. He came along last night and he brought his, is it Oculus Go, is it? I think it is. It's an Oculus Rift, but it's a completely standalone headset. You don't need there's no cables or anything, so it's really good. It's, the quality is, I would say, is exceptional. I mean, there's a lot of people criticise VR, saying it's not got the right resolution, but you know what, I think it's really good. I really do. I mean, it's I think the thing, it's not so much the resolution for me, it's you need a capable machine, because obviously, sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to convert this video to grey, because what's happening is it keeps you can see the brightness keeps flashing. I don't know how to change that. I'm recording this on the iPad. Yeah, it kind of keeps flashing between, is it the auto exposure or something? I don't know what it is. But yeah, the resolution is that, or sorry, not the resolution. The clarity of the screen, to my mind, is fine. But what I think we need to do is, or what they need to do to really make it good is, because the system is having to produce the image twice, it's going to limit the detail of the graphics. So some of the games are, I don't know, I would say they're like PlayStation 2 quality. Maybe the better games are not like that, but you know, you're not going to get 4K visuals, you know, in VR. Not at the moment. I'm sure once they get the technology up and running, and they have an all-in-one standalone non-wires thing, then I think VR is going to really, well, I don't know if it'll take off. The funny thing is, despite how really good it is, I mean, I get blown away with how amazing it is. I mean, there was one there was one game that I had a shot of last night, and it's called The Plank, and basically you walk onto this plank over, you know, it's like the top of a building, you walk out of this plank over New York, and I was like, wow, and I was literally like that, trying not to lose my balance, and I thought, stuff that, and I wanted to go back, and instead of just walking back quickly, I was like shuffling back along the plank, even though you know full well you're in the living room. It's nonsense, but I mean, it really does feel like you're there. What I like about the Oculus Go as well, I think it's called Oculus Go, is you basically, when you first start the game, you draw, when you first start the game, you first put the headset on, you can see your surroundings, and what you do is with one of the controllers, you just draw an imaginary line around where you can basically go. And what happens if you try and move outside that perimeter, it comes up with a wall, so it basically stops you. It's designed to stop you walking into walls and into furniture and that sort of thing. But really impressed. There was one game, is it Beat Saber, which I'd heard about. You've basically got two lightsabers and you've got these things. It's like a kind of, I suppose it's similar to like Guitar Hero. You know, it's similar to that. It's a rhythm game, but really good. You've got to kind of duck and that kind of stuff. So really, really good fun. So yeah, I might think about getting myself one of these. I think I need cheering up. Not right now, I can't afford it at the moment, but if money works out, then I might well do it. What else has been going on in my life? You can probably tell I'm getting a bit of double chin, I'm getting a bit fat looking, which is no surprise because I am doing no exercise at all, and I'm quite frankly disgusted in how I've become. All my life, I mean, since the early 80s, my dad was a rugby player and he used to go out. Well, it wasn't called running then, it was called jogging, which really is the same thing. Jogging is just running a bit slower. So my dad used to, in the 80s, the early 80s, there was a massive boom in jogging, you know, fitness. I mean, the London Marathon, I think, was it 81, 82, something like that. So jogging became a huge phenomenon. It boomed in the early 80s, and my dad, he embraced this. He used to go, you know, jogging all the time, and he got me into it as well. You know, we both had our tracksuits, and we would go along to there was a thing called the trim track, which was basically this little it was a series of exercises like log lifts and all manner of stuff, things you had to climb. There was like things for doing pull-ups, there was like monkey bars you had to kind of walk along the top, and there was loads of things, and you had to run around this little track. It was like a wood chip. It was actually quite hard, like running in sand, it takes it out of you, so that was really good. So I got into running at a very early age, and I think my dad instilled fitness in my life. You know, I was always one for keeping fit. I mean, I used to I used to run. I mean, well, when I was younger, I ran with my dad, and then yeah, I started when I was about I don't know. When I was an early teenager, I didn't do very much, but when I got to about 16, I started running again. I used to record all my runs. Then I started playing squash, and I've always kept fit. You know, I played rugby for a couple of years, played baseball. I've always done something. But then in 2010, I started running. I trained for a marathon, did that, and I've subsequently done, I don't know, about 8 marathons, and I've done about maybe 20 ultra races. And you know, running's one of these. It's one of these sports that when you, it's a really really difficult sport because you can't cheat it. You can't make it easy. You know, when you're running, it's just you on your two legs. You can't, you know, you're always. It's not like a bike when you can freewheel. So running, it's got a very, very hard learning curve. It's not. Sorry, I'll take that back. It's not. It's very easy to learn, but it's got a very steep difficulty curve because when you first start running, it is difficult. It is. You'll be blowing out your arse, you know, and that'll be like that for a while. But see, once you get beyond, once you get beyond a certain point with running, and it just clicks, and it suddenly becomes easier. That's when it's an amazing sport. I can't really. It's hard to describe just what running can feel like. It's an awesome thing. It can be quite spiritual. It can be very relaxing, and you know I absolutely love running. I really, really do. But over the last probably 3 years, I think it would be, I've had, I wouldn't say health problems, but I've been bothered with shortness of breath when I've been running. And the annoying thing is, it doesn't seem to be, it's not consistent. I can be fine for like a couple of weeks and then it'll just hit me. And that just knocks your confidence. So for the last 3 years, my running's been very sporadic. You know, I've never really gotten any proper fitness. I've never got any proper form. And this year in particular, or when I say this year, the last 12 months in particular, because of the job front, I've had absolutely no inclination or incentive or mojo to go out running. I just find it so difficult. I want to do it, you know, I want to, in my heart, I want to be that runner, I want to be that person I was, you know, 3 years ago, but I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. I think a big part of it is my running mate, who I used to train with all the time. He's in a relationship now, and I've not seen him for a while, and it's a wee bit disappointing. I've not seen him for a long time, and because the running that I do, I go out for, you know, I was going out for 3-4 hours at a time. I mean, some of the races you're running for 12 hours. Well, some of the races I've done, you're running for 36 hours. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, you know, when you're out on your own for that period of time, you need company, and having a mate to go out running with is a big, big part of it. So not having him really now is I think that's kind of made it difficult for me. But I'm not making excuses. I have basically become a bit of a lazy bastard, you know, if I'm being honest. And I've gotten fat, and you know, I'm probably not particularly fit at the moment, and I don't like that. So my mate Kenny, who was up last night, he's been into martial arts for virtually all his life. You know, he's done ninjutsu, is it jiu-jitsu, I think he's done karate. But this thing that he's into at the moment is, well, at the moment he's a black belt in it. He's been doing it for about 5 years, I think. It's called Kuksul, and it's a mixed martial art where you do punching, kicking, you do falls, you do throws, you do pins, you use weapons. It's everything, absolutely everything. I mean, think of Year Kung Fu, and you're pretty much there. They use fans, they use poles, they use swords, everything, absolutely everything. Now I've always kind of shied away, other than being into judo for like 2 weeks when I was about 10 years old. I've always shied away from club sports, in particular probably physical. Well, I did play rugby, you know, but I think because I was a short arse, still am a short arse, I'm only 5'7", so I'm still a short arse. Because I'm a short arse, I've always, when I was younger, it didn't really appeal to me going into a sport where you're fighting people who are like twice your size. You know what I mean? It's like, that is just not appealing at all. But Kenny was telling me just how great the Cook School is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going to that. I think you train on a Monday, Thursday and Saturday morning. So that's the plan. I'm going to go along on Monday. I'm going to look like a total twat. Everybody else is going to have their suit on, and I'm going to be there with a Nike t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of training shoes. I'm going to stand out like nothing on earth. But everybody's got to start somewhere. So can I. So I'm going to give that a go. I don't know how long you need to go to something. It's easy to go to something like that once and go, I'm not going back. But you've got to give something a go. It's like a computer game. You can't play it once and go, that's shit, I don't want to play it. Even though I do that. But yeah, I'm going to give it a proper go. Maybe try 5-6 weeks, see if I like it. If I don't, then I'll look for something else. I mean, if I do that and it gets, what I'm really looking for is some sort of a class, an activity where it really pushes me. I used to do boxercise training, where you do like press ups for a minute, you do the plank, you do punching, you do star jumps, all manner of things, running, and it really got me fit, and it kind of built me up as well, because when I was going to the gym there for a while, I felt it was quite well built. I was quite muscly, but I feel like my arms are quite flabby again, and I just feel completely unfit. And like I said, I have put on weight. I wouldn't say I was fat. I wouldn't say that. But like I said, I got a bit of double chin going on there, I think. So I need to sort that. The good thing is, I'm very, very lucky that if I exercise, I do lose weight very quickly. I am lucky in that respect. So yeah, I'm planning to go to Cook School on Monday, so I'll let you know how that goes. Anything else? Yeah, I can't make this waffle and not talk about what's obviously going on in the news, this coronavirus. The weird thing is, my job, I'm isolated, I work on my own. I mean, I can go for 3-4 days and I don't see anybody. Other than when I'm out and about, I'll see somebody walking about, but I don't communicate with anybody. I've got no other than through email. So I'm kind of isolated in my job, and then because I live on my own now, I come home and I'm isolated in the house as well. So some days I can go for like 2 or 3 days and not really speak to anybody, other than on YouTube. And so I've not really been following the news. I mean, I know I'm obviously aware of the coronavirus, but I was looking at the news last night, and blimey, this is a real thing. I've never really known something like this that's kind of dominated the whole world. I mean, the world's shutting down at the moment. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to go on for. They're now talking, I mean, in the UK, they're now talking about, if you've got so much as a cough, a fever, you've got to self-isolate. Then, of course, you've got this ridiculous panic buying by people. And, I mean, my girlfriend, her son lives down in London, and he sent some photographs of a shop try saying that when you're drunk, shop shelves, and they're completely empty. There is no food, there is nothing at all. Absolute madness. I mean, I was up at Morrison's the other day there, and there was hardly any food in the shelves. It's just crazy. Don't even think about buying toilet roll. You simply can't get that for love nor money. It's madness. But yeah, we all go about in our own little bubble, and we think that, as long as everything's all right in my world, then I'm fine. And here's something that's, I'm not going to say it's going to wipe out the world, but it just shows you that when Mother Nature decides it wants to get involved, it can play hardball, and you've really got there's nothing you can do. I mean, I think Scotland is at the forefront of finding a cure for it. or finding not an anaesthetic, a jag for it, whatever. But from what I've kind of heard, from what I've seen in the news and that kind of thing, I think it's just like an extra strong flu, and so they reckon that something like 8 out of 10 people will completely recover from it, but it's generally, I think it seems to be hitting older people, and especially those that have got underlying illnesses, but it's quite frightening, when you realise that something can just come along, Mother Nature can come along and just throw out a disease or an illness, and it can just, we think we're untouchable, but we're not. We're absolutely not. I mean, the last time I remember this kind of fear factor, although I don't think it had the same effect, was when AIDS first became a thing. I mean, it was like was it the early 80s? I think I first became aware of it. Was it Rock Hudson, the famous Hollywood actor, died of it, and it became a real thing. They were putting out public information films, and there was this belief that we were all going to die of AIDS, and it was frightening. It really was. But this seems to be, although I don't think the disease is deadly. I mean, I think back then AIDS, if you got AIDS, you were dead. Forget it. It's your tea's out, as they say in Scotland. In fact, just on that score, I actually heard in the news, I think it was last week actually, that apparently there's a man who had AIDS, or a person had AIDS, and they are now fully recovered. So that's good. That's great news. I mean, it's taken the best part of 30 years for that to happen, but that's good to know. But this coronavirus, it really does. It's hit so many countries all at once, and I think that's what the frightening thing is. And for the first time, I heard that the London Marathon, which was supposed to be going ahead on, I think it was the 8th of April, 9th of April, it's certainly the beginning of April, it's now been pushed back to October. So for all these people that were training for it, I feel sorry for you, because obviously, some people might be, want to do a one-off marathon and then go back to being a couch potato, and they'll be gearing up to this, the big run next month, and then suddenly they've been told that they're going to have to wait another 6 months. But so yeah, it's worrying times for everybody. It really, really is. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I hope all you guys are all good. So I don't think I've got anything else gaming related. I have got a few videos I want to get put out, and like I said, I will be endeavouring to put out as many as I can. This is actually the first kind of pre-recorded Friday Waffle I've done for a long time. I've been doing a lot of live ones now. It's a double-edged sword with a live one. The bad part of it is you've just got to get out there and do it. You can't edit it. You're out there, you're live. But the good thing that I do like about it is it's more spontaneous. You've got obviously people talking to you, and you don't have to faff about with editing things. It's out there, boom, upload, and away you go. But I thought I better kind of get back to sort of doing some of my more traditional ones. Now, hopefully you will have seen my new intro. The reason for that is one of my mates he likes to kind of dabble with, I don't know what he uses, it's like a kind of music synthesizer, and he done this 80s tune which he sent to me, and I thought, what, that deserves a video of its own. So I thought, why don't I do a Friday Waffle intro? I mean, I've only made about, I don't know, 52 times 6, whatever that is. I've only made about 300 Friday Waffles, so I think it's earned its stripes. I think the Friday Waffle definitely deserves its own little intro, so hopefully it's not shit. Obviously I've not made it yet when I'm recording this video, but by the time you watch this you'll have already seen the video intro, so hopefully it's not crap. So anyway, listen, I'm going to batter on with a few questions from last week's Friday Waffle. But before I do that, I'm going to have a drink of my coffee. Excuse me. Right, you oldie gamer Steve, missed this live. Now, I'm obviously pretending that I've not seen these questions. I've already answered them, and I can't even remember what I said. Yoldy Gamer Steve, missed the live waffle as the wife wanted to go out of all the sodding days to pick on a Friday. God damn it. Andrew Clegg, I always miss the live waffles, damn. Yeah, as you've probably noticed, I've come off social media. Well, this is social media. I've come off Facebook, which means I can't, what do you call it? I used to put out a little, a little note on my Main Meister Facebook page telling you I'm going to do it. What I might do is I might put out a tweet. Now, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can do so. It's Main Meister, funnily enough. That's what I'll do. If I'm going to do a video, I'll put out a tweet. I'll need to figure out how to do that. But yeah, I'll do a tweet telling you I'm going to be doing a live stream. That's the best thing I can really do. So anyway, right, here's Old Faithful Kevin down the rabbit hole. How you doing, Kevin? I'm not too sure if the Power Glove made for the NES was ever big in the UK, but what are your thoughts on that thing? Underappreciated tech ahead of its time, or a dumb gimmick? Now I'll be honest, Kev, I have never ever owned an NES. I've never ever played an NES, and I absolutely mean that. And you'll probably think that's quite surprising for somebody like me of a certain age who's into the old systems. The NES was never really took off in the UK. I think the Master System was more popular across here, but yeah, and the thing is with the NES, virtually every system, PC, handheld, whatever, you can emulate the NES really, really well. So I've never really had any real incentive or urge to kind of go and buy one. So with that in mind, I've never seen the Power Glove in the flesh. I mean, I've seen pictures of it, I've seen videos of it. Now, if I'm right in thinking, it was you put this glove and you basically turned your hand and you could control things. As I said, I can't comment on it. From what I gather, it wasn't particularly good. It wasn't very effective. But you know what? One thing I love about Nintendo. Now, Nintendo do get a hard time in the media, on YouTube. A lot of people are very anti Nintendo. But one thing I do like about them, they're never ever afraid to try and come up with something different. I mean, they basically devised the NES controller, the NES pad, which is basically what every single gaming pad now is based on. It's the 4 buttons, the shoulder pads, the start, select. Then of course you had the Virtual Boy, and it always annoys me when people say, "Oh, the Virtual Boy's crap." I would guarantee that probably 99% of those people that say it's crap have never even seen one. They've maybe seen one on a video, they've never tried one. That's what I should have said. They've never tried one. I'm fortunate enough, I own one. I don't use it very often because, I don't know, just because I don't, but I've got to say, I think it's really, really good. I mean, it's obviously an early 3D, but you know what? It works ridiculously well when you consider what it's actually doing. It's all mechanical, and that's why I think it's extremely unreliable. I mean, they can break really easily. But the Nintendo were way ahead of other people. They pushed out the Virtual Boy. They've got the 3DS. I mean, they're the only company that's got a 3D, 3D handheld. You had the motion controller with the Wii, so they were always trying to do stuff. They've come up with the first handheld that you can plug into TV with a switch. I mean, they might not come up with the most powerful hardware, but they do come up with some real novel stuff. So as I said, the Power Glove might have been shit, from what I gather it wasn't particularly good, but fair play to Nintendo for actually coming out and giving it a go, so I think you've got to respect Nintendo for that. But as I say, Kev, I've never actually tried it, because I've never tried, what's going on here, that's better, yeah, I'll do that there. So right, secondly, someone posted on Twitter that they just bought a Vectrex, and their question was, what is the very first game they should plug in? Honestly, I had a hard time narrowing it down to just one title. What would you vote for? Well, I would not plug in any game. I would just switch it on and play the game that it comes built with, and that's Mindstorm. Mindstorm is an absolute epic game. It's a brilliant game. Just don't get too good at it, because I believe the built-in one crashes. Is it level? Something's niggling me that it's 7 or is it 13? There's something like that. The game crashes or it resets or something. Because of that, they didn't realise it. They made all these, I don't know how many Vectrexes were. Was it Vectri? Vectrex? I don't know. Vecti, I think it is. We'll go with Vecti. I don't know how many Vectis were made. But yeah, they shipped a built-in game that basically crashed. So they had to then, what they did was they told, if you wrote to them to complain, they would send you Mindstorm 2. And because not many people did, probably because not many people actually got past level 7 or level 13, whatever it is, very few people actually did that. And so Mindstorm is one of the most collectible games. It goes for daft money on eBay. Talking of which, I see somebody sold a Spectrum Next for £2,000 or £2,050. Madness. Now, I love my Spectrum Next, but if anybody wants to buy my Spectrum Next for £1,000, you've got it. And I mean that seriously, because why would I not? That's just insane. Anyway, back to the Vectrex. Mindstorm's an awesome game, so if you get a Vectrex, play Mindstorm first. Don't worry about buying any other games for it. Other notable games, I mean, my favourite, I think the most impressive game, not necessarily my favourite, but the most impressive game I would have to say is Vector Pilot, which is a take on Time Pilot. It's just awesome. I did do a video. If your friend watches my channel, Kev, tell him to watch my Vectrex video, which I did about maybe 2 months ago, because I do kind of feature my favourite games. But yeah, so there's Time Pilot, but the only problem is it's quite hard to get a hold of. Not Time Pilot, Vector Pilot. It's a guy called Christoph who actually makes these, so you've got to kind of order it. But I mean, other great games. Pole Position is a great game. Berserk. What's it called? Blimey, it's the one you control a little jeep, and you shoot the helicopter and tanks. I can't remember what it's called again. Armour Attack, yeah, that's it. But there's so many, even like some of the real basic ones, they're brilliant, because it's, the vector screen is just beautiful. It really, really is. So yeah, play Mindstorm and then start looking at some of the other ones. And finally, if someone showed you screenshots of a generic game running on the Commodore 64 and a similar game running on the Amiga, could you tell the difference? Yes, I would say so. Unless the game is deliberately written to look like an old game, I would imagine that I could. I don't think there's any games that I couldn't tell the difference. I think I could. And same question for the Intellivision versus the ColecoVision. Yeah, again, I think if the games were written for the strengths, I think I could. I mean, I believe the ColecoVision has got a higher resolution. I think it's more powerful. I think it's got more colours. The Intellivision, if you'll notice any Intellivision game, they all seem to use the same little Running Man sprite. I don't know if that was a built-in thing, but every game that I've seen within Intellivision all seem to have this little Running Man sprite. It's a bizarre thing. But yeah, I think I could, Kev. So anyway, thanks for your question, Kev. And Ray C is great show, boys. A Laurel and Hardy of retro gaming live streams. Fantastic. I was going to say I'm obviously Laurel, but going by how fat I'm getting, I think I could probably be either or. But you know what? Laurel and Hardy are my favourite comedy duo, so I take that. And I mentioned this to Chris last week, and he took that as a compliment as well. Fantastic. Milthy Swinbuckle, hello again, me Meister. Let me tip it down a bit. Question for the next waffle. Do you ever still get pleasantly surprised by a game you've never heard of on the old machines that you had back in the day? A game that you stumble across and think, how the hell did I miss this beauty? I'm mentioning this because of watching videos by yourself and Lacosa reviewing games. I thought that although I'd only touched on a small amount of games, majority were at least the good ones. However, only during the last few months of watching the Dynamic Duo's videos, I found games like Dino Eggs, American 3D Pool, Beam Rider, Crossfire, Slicks, Master of the Lamps, Drelbs, Hustler, etc. to name but a few. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know what? There are so many games. I mean, I've got this thing called GameBase, which is it's just a front end for for like an emulator. But the great thing is, it's got all the games listed, and I think in the Commodore 64, I've got something like 25,000 C64 games. A lot of them are like basic games and that, but there are so many games. I could play 100 new games a day for, I don't know, a year. It's ridiculous. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. But one thing that if you're if you're a C64 owner or an Atari owner, well, more so the C64, but a lot of people, the C64 came out, I think, 1983, and that's when I first got mine, and I think it was still a commercial thing until about 92, something like that. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was almost like 10 years. So I think there were still games coming out even then. Now, a lot of people would probably talk about, I don't know, they'd probably say that the vintage years of the C64, i.e. when the best games came out, were probably like 86, 87, 88. That's when, I mean, there was obviously Rob Hubbard, Martin Galway had been out, Bend Unleashed, but then you had your Jerome Tells and all these Chris Hulsbecks, and they were really pushing the system. But if you actually care to go back to 1983, on the C64, I mean, I was lucky enough. I got my first C64 when I was in 1983. There are an absolute massive collection of real early games, that were released in the US. I mean, like your stuff like Fort Apocalypse, your Drelbs, Dino Eggs, they were all written in the States, and a lot of them, probably never ever came across to the UK. You've got brilliant platformer games like Jumpman Junior, Miner 2049er. I don't know what else. I might need to do a video actually on the classic American games. That's something I'm going to do. But there are so many games, and then even if you're quite happy to use emulators, download an Atari emulator. There are so many brilliant games, and a lot of times you'll find that the Atari version of the game was better than the C64 one. Best example would be Drop Zone. I know that was an Archer McLean game, that wasn't a US Gold game, but Drop Zone on Atari is better than the C64 one. I don't care what anyone says. It's smoother, it runs quicker. Then Fort Apocalypse on the C64 is a fantastic game, but play it on the Atari and it is even better. It's silky smooth scrolling, awesome. There are so many games that you've never ever heard of. A lot of the Jump Cut, it just came up. The maximum file size of video has been reached. So hopefully it's still intact and you can see this. But yeah, honestly, even like this is Atari. There are so many. I mean, even some of the older systems, the ColecoVisions. There are so many amazing games, and in some ways, I think the games were better because they were less reliant on graphics and it was all about gameplay. So some of the most basic games, I mean, one of the prime examples of a basic game is Beam Rider. You're not going to get a more basic, shittier looking game than Beam Rider, and yet it's brilliant. Even in the Atari 2600, it's absolutely fantastic. It really is. So yeah, I can't think of any particular game, Milfy, but I'm always finding games that I've never seen before, that came out back in the day, and you're like, how did I miss this? You know what I mean? So never be afraid to dig into the back catalogue. But I think I'm going to do an American special, and it'll probably be on the C64 because that was the system that I had back in the day. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. And what's he saying here? P.S. Also, did you know that Derek Findas gives you a nice shout out on one of his as one of his favourite YouTubers? Oh, bless you, Derek. Thank you very much, sir. It's on his video entitled "A Very Special on the Spectrum." Thank you very much, Derek. As you know, I'm a huge fan of your video as well, and you were going to give me a shout because I would love to do a collaboration with you. I really would. So please get in touch. So anyway, listen guys, that is it. I don't have any other questions. So, one thing I've completely forgotten. Have you seen the number of subscribers I've got? Yep, I have broken 3,000, which is just mental. I know it's nothing in the scale of some people. I mean, like Nostalgia Nerd, he's been going 3 years and he's up to 100,000. I've been going 6 years and I'm up to 3,000. But I mean, it took a long time to get 500 subscribers, and then it kind of quickly got to 1,000, and then it seemed to take forever to get to 2,000, and then it's gone really quick from 2 to 3,000. It's a bizarre thing. I suppose at the end of the day, the more views you get, potentially, the more the more exposed your channel is going to be to other people. But I just very quickly want to say thank you to every single person that's ever taken time to watch one of my videos. Especially big thanks to, I've got a core of friends, viewers, subscribers, call them what you will, but you're my mates, who watch my channel. You support my channel when I do the live streams. You're in and about the channel. You're contributing. You're talking to me. You're commenting. I've said it before, and I really mean this. If it wasn't for you guys being about, I wouldn't do this. This having you lot about is what makes doing this fun. And it should always be fun. I love you a lot to bits, I really do, and I've made some cracking friends over the last 10 years of doing YouTube. So thank you very much to everybody for sticking with me, for supporting the channel. So brilliant. So lastly guys, I just want to say I hope you have, if you're watching this on the Saturday, I hope you have a really nice weekend. I'll catch you soon, and as always, thank you very much for watching.